November 7 Echo Romeo, turn right heading 090, runway 32, clear for takeoff.
Moton Field traffic, fly to 7 Echo Romeo, 2 mile final, runway 31, Moton Field.
As you go through, this hangar is going to take you into 4 different themes of the park. So it's going to take you into who are the Tuskegee Airmen, explaining that they are not just men, they were men and women that trained and taught how to fly, how to become pilots, but also how to become mechanics, nurses, navigators, bombardiers, parachute riggers. Everybody who had any role in making this a success is considered a Tuskegee Airman, and there's a book on the other side with about 16,000 names in it that you can flip through and see if you know somebody.
What happened was my next door neighbor was a Tuskegee Airman. At the time, I didn't know anything about Tuskegee Airmen. All I know was he went off to fly and came back with his pinks and greens on and his wings, and I said, boy, I sure would like to do the same thing. Well, I had watched all the newsreels at the movies that I go to, and you see the guys storming the beaches fighting the Japanese and fighting and slogging through the mud over in Europe. And my attitude was, I would like to fly and I would like to be sloshing around in the mud.
Man, this is probably one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. I mean, just to think that back then, I mean, people of color were, you know, actually fighting against our country when they were actually fighting us. I mean, they didn't, and still just to think that they overcame, you know, segregation and what other people thought of them is just really remarkable. I mean, they putting their life on the line for people that probably don't even care about them. And that's just, that's what makes it the most remarkable.
This has been an amazing experience so far. In this little area, I wouldn't have thought that something like this was even in this area. We're at the Moton Field airport where the Tuskegee Airmen Museum is. I mean, y'all, it is so awesome out here. You gotta come out here and just check it out. I always knew a little bit about it, but just being where they actually were in the history behind it is pretty awesome. It just encouraged me to just keep pursuing to get into general aviation. Haven't quite started yet, but I plan on starting, and this just gives me encouragement. And it's super dope here.
I always had a dream of flying. What happened was I didn't really have the money to pursue flying, so I ended up, like I said, joining the military to get the money for flying. After that, I went to MTSU, finished up all of my ratings. I'm still currently in the Air Guard, and I have about 1,300 hours now. I've been flying with Mr. Darryl Freeman here for about a year or so. Other than that, we're just out here having fun, man. So enjoy the video. See you. This is our what we call the pre-flight. So we pre-flight the plane just before we take off to make sure everything is in good condition and good standard before we take off. Mostly just checking over the surfaces of the aircraft, looking for anything that may be detrimental to flight. Detrimental meaning a bird strike, a dent in the wings, fuel leaking, or anything like that.
Hey, living the life.
So he's a pilot, he's working to be a pilot, he's a pilot. She's working to be a pilot. I'm a washed-up pilot. He's a pilot. These two guys over there, he's a pilot, and the other guy's training to be a pilot. And we're recruiting the photographer Lee to be a pilot and Carlton.
Got me into flying. I'm curious, so I feel like what better way to like engage my curiosity, be a pilot. That's how I wanted to fly. From Memphis, junior at Middle Tennessee State University. So this is my passion to be a pilot.
Get ready to go. We had Fred meeting, then we came here. I'm ready to leave.
Ain't no more fish. Ain't no more fish. No more fish. No more fish. All gone. Yeah. I got interested in flying. I've been flying for a lot. My parents divorced when I was younger, so I used to fly back and forth between seeing both my parents. And when I was 32, I got a birthday gift for an introductory flight. Got hooked and just got started after that. Was fortunate to be trained by some great minority pilots. That was important for me. And looking forward to continue to get my private pilot's license and grow my business practice as an attorney.
Please put that in the end.
The outro, the outtakes.
Right, outtakes.
This cobbler has blessed this cup, Jesus.
Look at the steam coming from.
Oh, that's the sauce, the bourbon sauce. Somebody grab some of that. Please take that. Hey, try a piece of that. Been a pilot for about 0 days, 0 hours. I've been scared primarily 100% of the time I'm on the plane, but I'm having a great time.
Out in Starville, Mississippi, making model airplanes as a kid. Caught the bug, started flight training in the mid-70s till my wife said, new baby, new house, you're done flying.
Yeah, so my name is Ryan Miller. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. I always wanted to fly. It took me a little while to get to high school for me to realize like this is something that I wanted to do for a career. So I ended up going to MTSU in 2010. I enrolled in the private pilot program. And I realized that, man, flying is an expensive hobby, and it's gonna be kind of expensive to get done. So I ended up going to the military. I joined the Air National Guard in 2011. Graduated from college in 2015, and I was lucky enough to get a pilot slot flying C-17s in the military for the Tennessee Air National Guard in 2016. I ended up getting another job with the Tennessee Air National Guard up in Nashville flying MQ-9 Reapers. So that's where I'm at now, man. Still do some general aviation stuff outside. So yeah, that's my journey.
Runway heading, clear to take off runway 28, Echo Mail. She's ready to fly. Clear it up. And so we're going to sign off here.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
At 14,600 feet, climbing up to 19,000, doing, I don't know, about 200 miles per hour, headed back home to Smyrna, Tennessee from Montgomery with a trip through Tuskegee. Thank you.
Thank you.